All right, GM, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Protocol Explorer. This week I have Elliot with me. Elliot, can you give a quick intro to yourself, what you do, and what brings you here?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me here. My name is Elliot Brame. I am a build-out builder, and I work on a whole lot of things. I work on everything. Um, I'm part of BuildOut, which is a cooperative of builders, multi-chain. We build things together, build tooling in the ecosystem, that type of thing. Um, yeah, and that's really it.
What are some of like the different tools, or like I guess, or even like what are your favorite kind of things that you're working on right now?
So primarily we build applications on Boss, which is a blockchain operating system, which we'll talk about today. So it's a lot of tooling around there. So we'll build projects on top of it, including we've got projects with Canvas, video app. We're diving into marketplaces. We primarily build on the Near blockchain, but we have this ability, and we work with other teams to build on other blockchains as well.
Gotcha. So like, did Build Out kind of start within like the Near ecosystem itself, and like kind of branched out a little bit, or how did that work?
That's right. It's a grassroots DAO. It was part of NDC, and as its mission was to branch out into kind of, as Near has these functionalities of chain abstraction and this ability to kind of build on any chain with Near. Build DAO has filled that arm to do that outreach.
Gotcha. Nice. Cool, man. What's your favorite part about like working in something like this? Because it's like, I guess it's like not like a traditional kind of company, or um like
Right.
how does that compare to like other experiences you may have had?
Um, I like it because it gives a lot of freedom. And
Okay.
that's why I left the corporate world in the first place, was because I wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to do the things that I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And BuildHow has been able to do that. Anybody is welcome. We're always hiring. We're always looking for builders and builders to build projects that we want to support. If it is something that is worthwhile and gives a benefit to the community, that's something that's worth building. Uh, yeah, and I like it because I work with people all around the world. There's really not like a piece of the globe that I don't have somebody, like, I'm not touching in a way. And that's exciting. And it's like this challenge. And how do you have like these decentralized teams that don't have to like have this uh, central authority or anything like that, so that everybody can just like, you know, work cohesively together, but still separately and making their own decisions.
Interesting. Yeah. I think like when I first kind of like came into the space, like I did, a bunch of stuff with like developer DAO and things like that. So like, um, I wouldn't say I'm very experienced working in like more of a DAO setting, or like a setting like this. So it's really interesting just to see how it's worked. Like, do you ever like do you feel like it's easier to like work on different projects and get things done, or do you feel like there's anything from, I don't know, maybe the corporate world that does make sense in some of the processes there?
You know, uh, yeah, no, that's a great point. In the corporate world, you have like sprints, and
Yeah.
you have the individual, you got like the product manager, and you got your tech lead, and you got everybody that like you have the people to rely on, as well as you have your HR or conflict resolution or something like that to handle all the other stuff. That doesn't exactly exist in this setting. Not, but I don't think it's because of like the nature of it all. I think it's more of just like poor organization. And I think that uh, as this industry evolves, we're going to see these types of like decentralized groups emerge again, these type
Mhm.
of working groups. But definitely do miss that comfiness. You just got to
Yeah.
show up to work. This is what you got to do, and that's it.
Yeah. Nice. Cool, man. Maybe we can like dive into what we're building on today. So you mentioned some stuff. Let's go into it.
Whoa. Sorry, yeah, let's do that. So let me present my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm working off of one screen today. So let me make sure. Can you guys see this? You see Twitter right here, but you see
Yep.
Canvas?
Yep.
Cool. So today what we're going to talk about is something called the blockchain operating system. It's BOSS. And we're essentially what it is, it's code stored on the Near blockchain inside of this contract called the social.near contract, the social contract. So if we go ahead and we look at NearSocial, which is kind of where it all began. So everything that we're looking at here is code stored on chain. So we have all these social features. We have liking, we have retweeting, we have commenting. You've got a feed, you've got followers, you've got a profile, just a typical social media. So if you check this out, there's this little button up at the top, and you can actually view the source of the page. So this is the code we were just looking at. These are all called widgets. So there's this special tag name called a widget, and you can reference them by their path. So widget as a source, mob.near/widget profile large. Right now we're looking at mob.near/widget/profile page. So the cool thing about that is that you can go in and you can fork it. It opens up in the editor right away, and now I can edit my profile, and I can make some modification to it. I can see it over to the side, and then I could save this component. And then I would have a profile page that is a fork of the other profile page. I'm going to save it to chain. So that was like a deployment right there. And now I can go over to ephys.near/widget profile page. That's the path of it. That's how it's stored on the chain. And you can actually see my modified profile page. So that's a pretty cool quirk about it all. NearSocial, it was built by Eugene the Dream, the mother of blockchain. He's built, really influenced a whole lot of the Near tech stack. And there's a lot of really cool nuances about Near that we thank him for. But if you're interested in any of this, I would highly recommend checking out his profile, mob.near.social, and reading this, the past, the present, and the future of NearSocial, because it gives a lot of context about what this is all about and how it works and where we're going with it. But essentially, all this data is stored locally. It's almost like your own little operating system. That's why it's called the blockchain operating system, where you have you've carved out this little piece of this smart contract, and you have full control over the data that you save to it. So for example, that widget that I just made is saved underneath here. I can find it.
So I have a quick question. I'm just trying to conceptualize this a little bit in my head. So blockchain operating system essentially does it like keep a copy of like all the data saved locally, or like is this data like available on like the Near blockchain? People can query it, or
Yeah, so this
yeah.
data is all available on a Near blockchain. So it's actually stored on this contract, a smart contract called the social contract, social.near. But it's a very unique contract in that every account has its own like namespace under it, where you can modify data, and you can't modify my data, but I can modify it. I could check yours if you had a Near account, but I can go and I can see his data underneath what he has saved. Does that clear it up?
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense now.
So what this means is that you have this like very customizable environment. For example, you can even modify items about it. Like I'm going to modify the right-hand editor to add an applications bar. I'm going to move it down. Save it. I can save things underneath settings. It's like on this for NearSocial. It's all very transparent. You always know what you're interacting with, and when you're saving data, you always know what data is actually being saved from you. As you can see, there's no cookies that are being collected. There's nothing there. This is all kind of, it's happening within this like sandbox iframe. So it's not accessing anything you don't want to give it. But you can explore it. So people are building all these different applications on here. One that you can check out is maybe like Near Catalog, so you can see all the projects that are in the ecosystem. It's a whole lot of projects. As well as this one, which I thought that we could hack on today.
Nice, nice.
Okay. So, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So this is a widget, right? So this is just querying some data and I guess returning whatever your profile or whatever is.
Yeah. So how it's working here is we've got this, or actually here we can even do this. So this also is widgets. Right here we're interacting with widgets here. Are you familiar with TLDraw?
No.
Cool. You should definitely follow them on Twitter. They offer this canvas as a tool to build in your own apps, but it's really customizable and you can like interact with it. And so we've extended it to be able to embed widgets on the canvas, like this one, like we did this right now. And now we can maybe dissect it a little bit about what's going on here. So yes, this is a widget, but it is, first we have like a gateway, which would be near.social. So one thing that I haven't shown yet actually is here. So if we go to near.social and we're looking at the widget here. This is code stored on chain. It is a React app that has the NearSocial VM installed, which essentially handles the fetching of the code, the parsing and interpreting it, and ultimately like mounting this React component on your page. There's other gateways. There's near.org, so we're looking at the same thing but through a different website, different domain. There's also everything.dev, another one, and even the build-out site, which is fully on-chain, access it. So you have like this permanence in a way. Somebody kills near.social, well, we can just still access this through some other gateway because it is stored on chain. So we have all these different gateways, which are essentially React apps. And in them, they have something called the NearSocial VM installed, which is a really cool thing to dive into. I would highly encourage it to anybody that's watching. But essentially, yeah, what it does is that when we see this widget keyword inside of our gateway, that has a source. When it renders, it pulls in that code from on chain, so we can actually see. So this is like an explorer for looking at the data that's saved. But here, this is like that stringified code here. We pull this in. We look through it and interpret it, and then it's what spits out is this build code. Anyway. So since the social contract isn't just used for storing widgets on it, you can store other types of data. That's what all those posts are stored on there, likes, comments, stars, as well as pokes, kind of like on Facebook. So this app, you're able to poke a boss. You can poke Ilya, who is the CEO of Near Foundation. He's he is the co-founder of Near. I guess you can't poke it through that. And then whenever you want to develop or hack on anything, you can either fork it from up here, or you're also able to go to an editor in our ecosystem called Jutsu. You can explore all the things that people are building. It looks like somebody's building something with Lonk, which is a meme coin in our ecosystem. They're building, looks like a landing page on how to buy Lonk. Yeah. But it's cool because you can come in, you can just we're going to make a meme coin and we're going to call it Lank for all the lanky kids out there.
So someone is working on this and you can just go in, kind of check out and fork their code just from here.
Yes, exactly.
That's really cool. Okay.
Yeah. And it's not limited to just this stuff. So the VM, it comes baked with all these capabilities. So the code that you see inside here, it's very similar to React, but there's some slight differences. And really those differences are just that you don't have to worry about this, the convention of importing React or importing any packages or, exporting the component that you have. You're almost you're already within the component, if that makes sense. You can access props. You have access to props. You have access to context, like the context account ID, which I'm not logged in to anything. Yeah. But context account ID, which is essentially just who is logged in at the moment. Yeah.
Interesting.
And there's also ethers is provided by default. I don't build a whole lot on Ethereum or with ethers, but there's this whole list of all these components that people do build. You've got Arbitrum, Optimism, Gnosis, Space, Avalanche, you name it, you got everything. And so you got a bridge, swap, liquidity, I guess. And this is all stored on chain. So you can look at this But the wallet connector here, it pulls up Web3 Wallet Connect. So you're like in this. It's a really cool concept, I feel, because it almost like abstracts a lot of complexities of having to set up packages and libraries for your environment. You can just build this VM that has it all in there, and it just kind of like distributes and like makes it available for anybody that wants to develop with your tool. They'll just have easy access to it right away. They can dive right into coding, they can publish it immediately, and then they can share it with whoever wants to see it.
And like if anyone wants to like build like new packages, like I guess we have like you mentioned ethers, we have like VM or WAGMI hooks now. Like if you wanted to bring in like other tools like that, how would that work?
Yeah, we could. I think that's all I want to show right now. We can dive into that. I think that's a pretty cool thing. Is there anything that you're especially interested in including? Because I think it's a fun demo.
Yeah, like I like using VM or WAGMI hooks over ethers. So like if I wanted to do something like that.
Cool. So something that you could do. So we distribute these gateways as web components that you can use inside of your own app.
That was going to be my next question. So it looks like, okay, it is web components. Cool.
Yeah. So we've got this simplest one. We've got NearBoss web component, which is really just like this basic VM inside of it. It is the direct NearSocial VM, which comes with, it's got ethers. It's got some like tools for uploading files. It's really just like the most baseline one. But we can create a new one. So, for example, WAGMI web component. All right, so I just like clone that template repository. Here's another thing. So we're also like shifting gears here in a way. So I just showed a lot of the online editors, web editors that are just like easy for getting in, diving in, maybe prototyping something, kind of dipping your toes in. But now we're going to work with local components. So this is Boss Workspace and the NearBoss web component, if you want to use VS Code or your other text editor. So here's what we got going on. So we've got this gateway. Here's our React app.js. And inside of it, we initialize Near. We pretty much like initialize the NearSocial VM. Tell what network to use, how we're going to connect to the wallet, what RPC to use. And then we just like handle routing. We pretty much just say, if there's routing, we're just going to render a widget. The widget's going to handle the rest.
Okay.
And then we take this whole React app and we wrap it as a web component, which we call NearSocial Viewer. Or since this is a web component that we're specific for WAGMI, because we want people to be able to build using these tools, we can maybe even call it something else. And it has the attributes, so it's just like widget. So you've got source. So I could pull that tree component up. You can even put code in directly. So you could be like return hello world. That would take priority over the source. You got initial props you want to pass in, and then RPC, which is helpful for local development. So let's do this. So I am going to initialize a boss workspace inside of here. I can do that by doing npx boss workspace init. What Near account is going to deploy these widgets, not one that we own. It can be really anything. I'm just going to say test.near. Cool. We've got started. So in it, we'll see that we've got this like, we've got this new directory inside of here. It's meant to happen in its own repository. So it's got these workflows here that we could pull over. This automates deployments so that when you push to main, it deploys your widget code. Let's pull these up. We've got widget, which is going to hold the widget code. Hello world. Let's pull this one out. We have a boss.config.json. This is our configuration for our workspace. Package.json, and then we got README for telling how it works. But okay. One second while it loads.
Yeah. This is always the best part about live demo codes.
Yeah. But hey, it gives us opportunities for questions. Do you have any questions so far?
No, so far I think I'm starting to get it now. So it looks like, I guess it's this larger React kind of like app that has these like components within it. You add things in here and make these components available to like build on top of, I guess, like NearSocial and everything like that. Is that the right way of like framing it?
I think that's perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to show one thing. Okay, so we just installed Boss Workspace, but here before I dive into that, because I gotta pull something over. So that Poke the Boss app that I was showing earlier, I just want to be kind of clear that you don't need this further React app. You can see inside of here that all we have in here is just the widget code, and then we've got our configurations too. There's no other gateway. That's it. And when you run it, oops, I was messing around with something earlier. When you run it, we have this local gateway to look at these widgets, and you can check it out, log in, and of course you can make your changes here. So hot reload, it happens immediately.
Nice.
So I want to show that because this is a little bit different. We are just using the standard gateway. While this one, we're going to be introducing a new functionality because we want developers to use WAG. Okay. Oops, I didn't mean to close that actually. I just want my scripts over here. That's really it. Or here, wait. You mind if I backtrack just a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. I started to overcomplicate something. All right, so we're in this web component. We just cloned that template repository. We're going to do Boss Workspace, and then we're going to say test.near. We got it inside of here. See test.near. We're going to install packages. oops. We're going to run the dev server. Okay, we've initialized our boss workspace. Okay. So the cool thing that we can do now is we can work with a custom distribution. So let's go back out. Let's build this web component. Or actually, let's watch it. Okay, so that's going to take a second. Webpack takes a long time. In the meantime, I'm going to close a few tabs. Cool. All right. So we're building it. Okay. So we've got our bundle building. And then I'm in my test near, and what we can do here is we can give a path to this custom. This will start a boss workspace going through that custom environment that we had there. So now we can see test.near widget app. So now we're working not with the default gateway, but we're working with our local gateway instead. So if I make some changes in here, we see them happen. Okay, cool. Now, okay, now let's get into it. So let's make some modification over here inside of app. So there's this cool feature to the VM where you can introduce custom elements. So one custom element that kind of comes default is the link component. Which is just a reference to the React router DOM or to React router. Pretty much the point is, if you haven't noticed, is that you can't really like import packages inside of a widget. You can, there's like ways to go around it. You can like import it inside of an iframe and then talk to that iframe inside of a widget. But you can't like do this type of thing. You can't do just like a simple import. But you can do that import in your React app and expose that as a custom element so it's accessible. And you can make that custom element be anything. So I'm just going to make a simple one that's just going to return, yo. And then if that builds correctly, I think it did. I want to make sure that's not doing a dumb thing. It is doing it. Now we should be able to use test inside of here. Okay, so you see that? I'll go over this again. We just defined a custom element called test so that developers that are using our custom environment, our web component, if they write test, it's going to reference this. And that's what we just did here. In our widget code, I just had it return test, and now it's reaching up to the gateway and it's using that. You get what I mean? Am I still on this call?
Yes, you are. I was on
It's okay.
mute. I was on mute. Sorry. But yeah, so from my understanding, okay, so there's this top config inside of this app that renders or defines like the different components that are made available within the VM. So you could pretty much add what you want within these components to make available.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, how about you wanna let's flip it to you. You want to walk me through how to install the package that you want?
Okay, let's do VM real quick. So I think, what is it? VM dot sh. Yeah, VM.sh. VIEM.
Oh wait, what are you talking about? Oh wait, what?
VIEM.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha. I don't build on Ethereum, so this is fun. Okay.
I may also be pronouncing it incorrectly.
It's all good. You want me to do this?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's kill this. While that's installing, let's set this up for a separate. So we're gonna do, let's do, what do you want to call it? Let's call it a provider, but what do you want to call the provider?
VM provider, I guess.
But don't they go together? Don't VM and WAGMI, they like, you like?
Yeah, WAGMI is built on top of VM.
Okay.
Yeah. I figured it might just be easier to look at this.
No, I think that's solid. So I'm just gonna do this just so we can have some nice separation. Okay, there's that. We got. Oh, does it have a Node version that
Yeah.
I'm using? What am I?
18.17.
Should I be using like 21 or something?
Let me see. I didn't realize they had.
Well, here I've got another idea for another custom component that I was just thinking about.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna do the same thing, but here let's just. I think, but let's try this. React webcam.
Okay.
Let's get a camera here. So here, let's just do this really quick. Add webcam. That's just this. Easy peasy. We're gonna keep it. All right, sure. Let's call it camera. There we go. Go. There. Okay. All right, so we're still referencing test because we got rid of it, but now we can do camera. Yeah, let's go.
All right.
But okay, but I hope that
That makes sense now. Yeah. Like just come in, build out, a component that utilizes whatever kind of like package that you want, make that available in that config. And then people just use it.
exactly, yes. And I think it so we've done this with, I'm gonna get this out of here. We've done this with so this is the concept behind this. So we have TL draw as a web component. So now we also have one that's for live peer. We're currently building out this a video app using live peer. So we expose live peer JS inside of it, as well as we've got some other ones. We've got some, probably actually a few that we can't talk about yet.
Okay.
Regardless, all of these are we're looking for builders to come build with us on top of them because I know that we're approaching the hour. But we essentially distribute all this way. We have these like web components that all they need to do is just take in the little source to where the code is stored on chain, and developers can start building those widgets without having to worry about installing TL Draw, React Webcam, Live Peer, WAGMI and VM. None of it. I think it opens the doors to kind of like a really unique type of sandbox space where almost like library owners could potentially only have to maintain their web component, like distribute it that way, distribute this sandbox that developers incorporate into their own apps.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So if folks want to get started building this, like where's the best place to go to just get started?
So first of all, I will run through what I said. So I would highly recommend going on NearSocial, checking it out, making a Near account. I know that we didn't do that today, but something that we have. Near also has a Telegram wallet that you can create, and you can actually access these widgets through Telegram as well, like the Poke the Boss one. So you can create a Telegram wallet. You can go to docs.near.org to check out the boss on how to build this and what APIs are available. We honestly didn't cover a few of them, but there's APIs for interacting with the social contract to get and to set data. We talked about Jutsu, which is another Jutsu.ai, which is another online text editor if you want to get started. If you want to work with the tools that I was using, you can download and install Boss Workspace. There's some docs on how to get started, the init, or incorporating it into your own project. What we did just now was the NearBoss web component, which is available. There's some docs. Could probably write some more better ones, but if you join the build out chat, all you got to do is just go to nearbuilders.org, scroll to the bottom and click Telegram, and you'll come in, you'll talk to us, get involved. Right now, we're actually building a new landing page, which I'm hoping is going to show up right now. It's not, but it's all pretty cool. We're trying to build this system for developers to create projects, have social feeds underneath them, task boards, and be able to talk to each other and collaborate with each other. We're always looking for contributors. Any of our repositories are open source and available with tasks. If you pick up a task, reach out to us, and we'll get you onboarded.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for hopping on the stream with us, and learned a whole bunch of stuff here. So that was really cool. And for folks watching and tuning in later on, definitely check out nearbuilders.org. So I've got that down here at the bottom of the screen. So check that out, and join the community there. We'll be announcing next week's episode closer to the weekend / Monday. So definitely keep like stay tuned for that. And any last words from your side, Elliot?
No, I had a great time today. I hope that I know that I was kind of jumping around, and it's a lot to take in a way, but I'm always available for questions. I love collaborating. I love working with anybody. I've had a great time coding with you today.
Nice.
I hope to come do it again.
Yeah, definitely would be cool. Awesome, man. Thank you so much again. And that will be the end of this episode.